Hey, welcome. Come on in, come on in. Welcome to Higher Moves, where we are fabulous, fearless, fun, and faith-filled. Latrice here. I am your host. My desire is to inspire you to aspire to go higher without by going deeper within. Today's episode is all about your faith. I am here to remind you that your faith is powerful. You have that power within you. But listen, let me tell you something. So I know that working that faith and waiting on stuff, I already know how difficult it can be. Waiting on God, it can be very exhausting, but at the same time, there are so many ways that we can actually thrive and not just survive throughout that season while we are having to wait. So, the thing of it is we have to choose to trust God. We have to know that our faith works because it really does work. And sometimes we have to wait in faith. Now, I'm not talking about just sitting back, kicking your feet up and sitting on your hands and not doing things that you could and should be doing to speed up that process, but faith, it honors God. And the thing about it is you can receive strength through that faith, like having that hope and believing for stuff. Your faith, it actually does, it moves God. It seems like it helps the process along. And I know sometimes when you are believing, again, things don't just come, but I'm telling you, I've seen it, I've experienced it. Having that faith, it really can move mountains. I'll just say that it can move mountains. And look, without faith anyway, it is impossible to please God. It is darn impossible to get things done, to get those mountains moved, So having faith, it can help you in a multitude of ways. It can be used to please God and cause His power to go into effect and move mountains. But it can also move your mountain of despair, exhaustion, depression. Oh my Lord, that's a hard one right there. But we don't have time to get into it. I'll just give you this one tip to building up that faith and building up your hope, because again, when you are going through certain situations and having to wait, it can be very difficult. So it's like physical exercise. You have to do things. You got to be proactive. You have to actually do things to keep that faith and keep your hope built up and strong, So anyway, one way that you can do that is by visualizing. And I know you have most likely heard that before, but I am here to remind you, because a lot of times there are a lot of things that we do know and we need to be reminded about. So, we are busy. We get so busy, just living our lives and always having something to do, just always having something to do. We're so busy living according to our so-called reality that we don't maintain our childlike imagination, just as the Bible says that we should. And I feel like it's past time to get back to that, because it can help you feel good about yourself and your circumstances. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with daydreaming, so this is not anything to feel crazy about. I had actually lost my footing with daydreaming and visualizing at one point, and I had to get it back. There's nothing like having that faith. It can help you emotionally, not just mentally, but I had to really press in to get it back, because the things around me, the thing around me that I was seeing with my physical eyes, those things, they became extremely discouraging, and I had to choose to live more in my head. Sometimes you got to escape your reality. I had to choose to live more in my head than in my so-called reality. You have to do that. It may, what's crazy is that kind of sounds like you are going insane, but you got to live in your head more sometimes so that you don't go insane out here in this world, and to really like expose more. Listen, there have been times when I've daydreamed so much about things that they actually took place within minutes. And I'm not talking about being obsessed and to keep thinking as in worrying about things. I'm talking about imagining, visualizing, and daydreaming about the things that you want. When those things become so real to you in your head, you start feeling a certain type of way. You start feeling hopeful and encouraged. The more you do it and the better you feel, the more you will believe that it is going to happen. So that's an easy way to increase your hope and faith simultaneously. No, I know, no, we can't just live in our heads all the time and stuff like that. But let's face it, sometimes life is just that crazy and depressing that you need some sort of escape. People escape different ways: drugs, alcohol, movies, food, clubbing, all types of stuff. Me, I'd rather voluntarily go to another place in my head than lose my mind and have absolutely no control over where my mind is going. So another thing I recognize that was another thing that I recognized that can contribute to depression, despondency, discouragement, impatience. It's something that, this is what I'm telling you, is something that can give you hope and faith that everything is going to be all right. Otherwise, you might be on the way to losing your freaking mind with the way that life can be set up sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So something else that I realized would contribute to frustration during waiting seasons is that one of the issues and contributors of my frustration was I realized I didn't have anything to look forward to. Not that I truly did not. God was still blessing me. I had good health, shelter, food. It's crazy. It's crazy how we could be so blessed, but yet we will be blind to the blessings because we are so internally incarcerated, But anyway, during this time that I'm thinking about in my head, I just felt like I was starting to going crazy. Our minds, they can get so focused. Like, it's like our minds, the way we're set up as human beings, right? Our minds are so focused on darkness, what we don't have, some more negative bull crap, why stuff isn't happening, when is it gonna happen, why is it taking so long? We focus on all of that stuff and then more so hard that we don't even see not even a modicum of light. It could be a huge blast of light coming through, but our tunnel vision on that darkness will cause us to truly become blind to the light that's shining over us that never even went out. The light has been there the whole time. So when I was able to pinpoint that to myself, it felt like I wasn't, just reflecting. It was like I wasn't looking forward to anything within my control. And that type of stuff, it leads you to depression and not having hope in the future and knocking your faith off, But what I did was I established some new goals and I made a decision to focus on them. So, of course, I still looked forward to getting and having the things that are beyond my control. But the difference is, instead of focusing so hard on the things that I couldn't control, I decided to focus on goals that called for me to move my hands and become more active. You've heard an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And yet it seems like when we aren't, and you do have to rest, you can't just be busy 24/7. You drive yourself crazy and be crazy exhausted that way too. But it helps to be proactive. It can help to be busy. That stuff can save you from depression, and it'll redirect your attention so you aren't so focused on what you don't have, what's not happening. You'll be so busy, you are minimizing the space for the negativity. And so anyway, when you are involved in something, like I said, it requires you to be active, your mind will flow in that direction. I decided to write more, and of course, it caused me to be focused on whatever it was that I was writing. Like, my mind would be occupied, and so I can't focus too much on how fast things are moving that are beyond my control. Although, like, making sales of books, that type of stuff, that's beyond my control too. But the fact that I put my heart into stuff when I'm writing, like I'm really doing it for a reason, to really try to help and bless people, it's like I still have something to look forward to, because at some point somebody is going to tell me that what I have written has blessed them. And that alone gives me something gratifying to look forward to. So that's what you have to do sometimes. Just find stuff to keep you busy. And I mean, don't just be busy though, be productive. Find things to keep you productive, keep your hands going, because again, that'll shift your focus, which will shift your energy, and get into some stuff that you are really into, to where you will have gratitude just naturally, because it is something is going to come from it, something good and positive. So like I said, your faith is very powerful. You have to do what you have to do so that you can stay in faith. And that's it. All right, y'all, I'm done. That's it for today's episode. So until the next time, y'all be fabulous, fearless, fun, and faith-filled. And with that being said, now you can go make higher moves and take off.